Good evening, everyone. This Sunday, July the 19th, 2026. I was about to say 2025. Y'all forgive me for that. But we're in 2026, okay? Hey, how everyone doing out there? I just came out here for a little while to do a podcast. I haven't did one since about last week sometime. Um, I don't get on often, but I do try to stay current and constant because, I do have a lot of issues and things that go on, in life, family, wife, mother, children, career, other projects, author. So I do a lot. My post for today, what was on my spirit today is about forgiveness. A lot of times we hold grudges, we hold feelings, we hold resentment towards other people. And yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Basically, I can speak for myself. Um, I have harbored a lot of resentment in myself because of how other people treated me. The spirit of rejection was on my life so bad because of how my mother and my father had treated me growing up. You know, it's a trip that you can sit down and be among someone but never really know them and know what they're all about, you know. And a lot of times people do stuff to get a leg up, people do stuff to try to manipulate the situation, people do stuff just for the heck of it. And I'm learning that you got to forgive yourself for putting yourself in these predicaments and these situations, but you also got to forgive these other people, which is hard to do. In order to follow after Christ and seek after Christ and walk after his step and in his glory, you got to forgive. Cuz how is he going to forgive you if you can't forgive the people that hurt you? I'm going through changes like family, people on the job, your coworkers, even though they're not your friends, or some people forge relationships on the job. You there to make an income, you there to work, do your job to the best of your ability, and go home. A lot of times people forge relationships on the jobs, and you think people before you when they constantly stabbing you in the back every chance that they get. You know, but that's their politics. You still got to forgive them. You got to forgive them so you can be forgiven. You got to forgive them so your blessings will come, so your blessings will shine through, so your blessings can occur. It's not really all about them. It's about how you handle the situation and how God sees you in his eyes as to what you've done and what you're doing. And it's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it's easy, because it's not easy. I've been in certain situations where it hasn't been easy. I'm still dealing with things, which is still not easy. People say stuff about you, do stuff, or they don't even, you think you cool, you think you friends, but they don't come around, they don't talk to you unless it's something they want. And then sometimes you got to understand this principle. Sometimes God will separate you from them intentionally because you don't know the conversations that have been had behind the scenes. You don't know where the heart posture is. You don't know where their intents or their intentions are. So God will put a wedge between you and that person because you may be given a full 75 to 100% in that friendship, and they giving a cool 25 to 0, maybe 50 in the relationship. But that's a slim chance, of friendship. So, you have to do what's best for you and what's best as as allowing the Holy Spirit to lead you and guide you in. Um, like I said, forgiveness is a big issue that we all have to, we all have been hurt before. We all have been through a lot of traumatic issues. Um, my mom, for example, me and her don't have the best of relationship. You know, I try to be a good daughter without her meddling in my affairs, because she's still, you know, my elder, but yet and still I'm grown, I'm married, I have a family of my own. So she has to be put in check sometimes about meddling, because you can't meddle in grown folks' affairs now. You know, you can say your input when I was a child. Now you can advise me, but you can't tell me what to do. It's the choices that I make, the choices that God leads me in to direct my paths. That's what choices that matter to me. My family, my husband, my children, that matters. And a lot of times, you know, people will try to seek your demise because of unforgiveness. They don't want to forgive, and then they don't want anybody else to forgive you. And a lot of times, people start a train. You know, they might see something in you that they don't like, or they want to be like you, but they don't know how to go about doing it their own way. So they'll put people in, they'll get with other people to find a reason to not like you so that they can be on the same train that you're in, you know. But don't fall for it. Forgive. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. Forgive them so that it doesn't separate you from God, that it doesn't separate you from going to heaven, that it doesn't separate you from Jesus. Because like I said, if you can't forgive, how can he forgive you if you ain't forgave? Like I said, that's a hard pill to swallow. But you got to. You got to. My dad, I have daddy issues. My dad passed back in, I want to say, May. And my parents got a divorce, and you know, it's some things that my dad didn't follow through on as a father. I loved him, but he didn't follow through on some things as a father. He claimed he loved me, but how can I say that he did when his actions speak against what he was saying? But anywho, that's another soap opera, another story. But, you know, I have to forgive him. I have to be at peace with myself. I have to let go and let him and let God know that I forgive him. And even though sometimes it hurts because I talk about it. Sometimes I talk about it to vent. Sometimes I talk about it to release feelings and emotions. But I'm learning to put my faith and trust in the Lord, because I said it a long time ago. God is my father, and God is my mother, and God is my all in all. So when God be for you, who can be against you? And a lot of times the enemy will put ideals in your mind to make you feel like don't nobody love you and nobody care about you, in which you feel those things. But the devil focuses on certain things to try to make you focus on it, but he's a liar and the father of it, you know. So you have to be able to pinpoint and see for yourself that we serve a great and mighty God, and you got to forgive in order to be forgiven. You got to forgive in order to get your life moving forward, to have your life moving forward, and that you can get the best out of life. God has great things in store for me, and he has great things in store for you. Don't let the devil try to fool you, and don't let him steal from you. And you have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.